All right, we are on. Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today we have the Triple C, Henry Cejudo, on. I don't really need to give an introduction to him. I mean, this is a man who's done it all. He's a two-division UFC champion, and he's going for a third, apparently. And he's also possibly taking a boxing match against the phenom Ryan García. So there's a lot to talk about. I know he doesn't have a lot of time, and so I want to get started, so let's just get going. Henry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it, man. I saw you, I grew up watching you scrap, and, I'm honored to be on your podcast today, so thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. You're making me feel old.
Well, you're a pioneer. Remember, I didn't start fighting until 2014. I believe we're still in the UFC around the same time, but you're still...
Closing out.
Because you're in there back in 06, 08.
04.
From the times that I remember watching.
Yeah.
04, yeah. Ultimate Fighter. I'm
Season
sorry.
1, yep.
Yeah. So I was still competing. I was still wrestling at that time.
Yeah, thinking about you being like 33 and obviously we'll get into it in a second here. I don't believe you're fully retired yet, but even with retirement talk and all the championships that you've accumulated, that's crazy, making me feel old. You're so much younger than me, and you're already like so many belts and like could retire, whether you're doing it or not. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, Mike, it's hard to believe because I am a clown and I am a troll and I am a little bit of all that.
Right.
But at the same time, you know what I have that a lot of people want to have as a fighter?
What's that?
Is satisfaction.
It's good, man.
It's satisfaction. I'm full. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm so satisfied with my career, Mike, that even, like let's say even if I don't ever fight again, like I will truly be happy.
Yeah.
I will truly be happy to call it quits and to allow everybody else kind of, just let everybody else kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done that. And if I do end up coming back, it'll be for something big, man. An Olympic gold medal. I defended both my UFC belts. Like that's one thing. I know I'm kind of redundant. I'm a broken record, but that's never been done, man. And
that's legit.
I take pride in that shit. You know?
Do you feel like kind of like it's a bonus now? Like there we go. Do you feel like it's kind of like a bonus because you have accomplished so much that it's like you're content and happy, which is where a lot of people wish they could be, and you're just having fun now, and like you don't have to prove anything, but yet you still can at 33 years old with all those belts. Like is that a good feeling to have?
Forget the medal.
What is that? What?
It's just a replica of my gold medal.
Oh no! Nice. Oh, perfect. Yeah, for the Olympics. Yeah, nice.
No, but it's But you're right, Mike. I was slowly just peaking, and I started understanding like MMA science, mind body science is what I call it. Like understanding like these three components and how you structure a world championship camp. You know what I'm saying? Because I've experienced that. There's one thing that I have ahead of anybody and everybody probably in the UFC is competition. I've competed so much more than anybody else. And I've been able to take a lot of the experiences that I have and been able to, learn from the losses, learn from the wins. Okay, now develop my style according to my biomechanics and then find the right engineers to help me beat my opponent that's going to fight a certain way.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've calculated this certain way of doing things, man. Because if you were to see my camp, you'd be like, man, my camp is like, it's like a boxer. It's like a wrestler where it's completely focused in on you. And I felt like that was the biggest difference when I started pretty much taking off and, just went from being a decision maker like Alexander Volkanovski to stopping people, man, to say, hey, man, you're not going past 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't need 5 rounds. You're a 3-round fighter. I'm going to stop you. And I think it was a combination of the mind, too, of being better at smelling demeanor and when to finish and things of that matter. So, like I said, man, I'm 33 years old. I'm at my prime. I'm at my peak, but at the same time, I'm satisfied. And obviously, if the numbers were to add up, if there was something that was very enticing to me, the fight that really comes to mind for me is a Volkanovski fight. He's short. He's 5'6". I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
I think that fight is very doable and is very winnable for me. I would never take a fight that I don't think I could win, and I believe that even at 145 pounds with the experience, with the wrestling background, with the speed I have, that I'd be able to make some damage there and win a third bout ultimately. That's how I feel, Mike. Call me crazy, man, but that's just how I feel and that's how I think.
I mean, of course, you would win that belt, and then that would be a huge reward and something that's never been done, right? I don't think anybody's ever had 3 belts and 3 weight classes in the UFC, correct?
No, and I think if you were to win a third bout in the UFC, that'll just cement you as the GOAT.
Yeah, so that would be, obviously you'd get that if you get that win. But how big would the win be considering who he is? He's 145 pounds. 2 wins over Holloway, Aldo, Mendez. I mean, I don't know how many fights in a row he's won. I mean, it's a tough task too. It's not like he's a layover opponent. It's a big fight, and I think that would be a big draw. And I think that, like you said, that would definitely be worth coming back for you and for us to watch.
Yeah, but like I said, Mike, what makes me good, what makes me great, is the game planning. It's a tactical work. It's those minor little details that. My camp would be completely different for this man.
Right, of course.
You know what I'm saying? My camp, we would break this down. And I'm the type of guy that I will stick to the game plan. Like, I will literally stick to the game plan. If it's not working, obviously adjust. But for the most part, man, I feel like if you're able to just sit down and think, how can we make this fight? If my A side is greater than his, then I can fight my A side. But if his A side is greater than mine, then I'm gonna have to somehow make a fight his B side. You see what I'm saying? So even if I was, let's say even if I was to fight a guy like Holloway, that would be a tougher matchup for me because of his height or whatnot.
Right.
But if you really go and think, how did Volkanovski beat him? You're like, damn, man, the blueprint is there. What I'm saying is everybody's beatable. You just have to find the right minds and the right game plans and tactics and all that in order to beat this dude. It's the art of war. You know what I'm saying? So. Even though even in that fight, I think I'd be a slight underdog against Volkanovski. I really do believe that I would stop him. Like, I truly do believe that he wouldn't make it past 3 rounds with me. Just from pure tactics, precision, and speed. I think those would be my greatest strengths against somebody like that, because he is bigger and he is dangerous.
Well, I think considering your accolades, you can obviously there shouldn't be a problem with you coming in and jumping ahead, considering it is a different division, and it's ongoing, and you're kind of on the outside right now. What is holding this fight up? I mean, if you do want to fight him and he wants to fight you, what are we looking at as far as what's holding this match up from actually happening? Like, what needs to happen to make this work?
I'm not gonna say who told me, but I'm not gonna mention name, but Dana White and Hunter Campbell, they know that I will beat Alexander Volkanovski, but the reason why they don't want to give me the fight, because they're afraid that I'm going to retire again. You know what I'm saying? So now it's almost like, hey man, Triple C. I had mentioned to Dana White, I'm like, Dana, I've had meetings with them. Like, Dana, if I'm not, I'm going to retire, man. I'm satisfied with my career. I've always told him, and it's almost like, so when I did it on the mic, he was like, well, Henry did talk to me about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm putting where my money is. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not just, doing it through punch and fist, but I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? If the cringe ain't that cool, then maybe the cringe has to be out.
But how can that not be a win-win? Like, how can that not be a win-win if you did come in and you beat him and you became you would have done something that no one's ever done before. He can't even at his stage be a triple champ in the UFC. So you can actually do something that's never been done before. If that happens, why can't the UFC be content with the fact of just saying and showing and having you do that? And then if you retire, then they just fight off, again and get the championship back and him or whoever else, and it goes on. Like, it doesn't seem like it should be that big of a problem.
Yeah, but I can also get their side too, because they're gonna feel diluted a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We can learn from the St. Pierre. From this, St. Pierre did it. St. Pierre came back. He fought Bisbee. He cherry picked. St. Pierre's smart. He wouldn't find no other middleweight. He knew that. With all due respect to Bisbee, he knew that he was very beatable. He wouldn't do that against Israel Adesanya. He wouldn't do that against Kamaru Usman. He cherry picked. So then the UFC side, like, damn, this dude got us again. So Now, when it's up to me, where they know that I could beat, where I'm not a St. Pierre, where they know that I could legitimately be the best, that I could legitimately beat Volkanovski, it just dilutes kind of some more of the storyline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can get their side too, but Dana White has also told me, he's like, if I could ever allow a guy to make history, like I will never not allow a guy to make history.
That's what I was thinking.
But again, I'm in a different position. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand probably why, the reason why Dana's pouring like he's gonna do that.
So, I mean, you have to obviously make money, and you're content with what you've done in the ways you've done it. But what else is there? Like for instance, the Ryan Garcia thing. Is there something else that you can do that you're looking at aside from maybe Alexander? Like, I mean, is there something else in the vicinity of fighting like a Ryan Garcia? It has to be a special rules match, I would assume. I mean,
it is, and this would be because Ryan Garcia has talked about fighting in MMA, but it's all smoke and mirrors. He would never do that.
No way.
But I did come up with these unified rules that we're coming up with, and it's called BMA, boxing martial arts. And what it is, it's boxing. It's going to be boxing but the thumb is going to be Vitor Belfort came up with this. So right now it's actually in the works of actually flourishing, actually coming together. But with Rob Hickman, Vitor Belfort, Rob Hickman's Mike Tyson's manager, so it's going to be the next big thing, man. And I'm going to be a part of it too. So what they want to come up with is they want to come up with the boxing glove, and they already have the gloves too. With a glove, we were actually able to grab with the thumbs. So we'd be boxing, but we're able to grab fist, we're able to clinch,
it's like a clinch boxing,
grab neck, literally. So it's gonna be dirty boxing, man. So we're gonna do exactly what you do. We're just gonna add a few holds. It's gonna be from the waist on up. So if Ryan Garcia really wants to do it, I think the BMA is actually giving us like a even playing field for both parts. All right, man. Let's see who really is the best striker. You may have the best hands, but can you control and fight? Can you control when somebody's actually grabbing you?
Gotcha.
Personally, I don't think Ryan Garcia. Personally, I don't think he'd make it past 5 rounds with me.
So you can actually, so it's like clinch fighting. Like you can actually grab him, dirty box, and do stuff like that, but all with the hands.
Yeah. So these would be 10-ounce gloves, and these are dynamic. These gloves are dynamic, where you're able to actually grab wrist, grab collar, where you're able to. It's not going to be like a fluff here.
Right.
It's going to be. It's cool, man. Once you see it, like Tyson, everybody's on it right now. Like we're extremely happy to launch this forward. So if Ryan Garcia wants a piece of the hands, and if he wants a piece of MMA, why don't we make it an even playing field? We box with clinch. We box, or we can grab wrist. We box, or we can grab the neck.
That's a very interesting way of kind of like making that work. I mean, like you're looking at guys like Stipe. Stipe is even talking about wanting to. I mean, there's a lot of boxers, big name boxers, that kind of want to take on MMA fighters, and there's a lot of MMA fighters that kind of want to take on boxers. And I think what you're talking about kind of is a way of letting that happen in a sort of fair way, where it's a little bit more fair than just going into boxing when you got to sit there and box without doing anything else, which is playing their game. And they have to play your game a little bit as well. I think it's a good median, it seems like, from what you're saying.
It is.
And there's matches to be made.
It's an even playing field for all parties, man. Like, it's endless. You can have hockey players. You can have hockey players and football players fighting each other. You can have these certain people that love the game of competition, that have always wanted to fight. We get them sanctioned. We teach them a few things. We make it. We're not gonna put people that have no experience in this damn game. If you want to compete, let's find somebody that wants to compete with you. Let's change the pay-per-view drive too on top of that.
Yeah. What's weird is I actually found out about Ryan Garcia a while back through you, shockingly. It's amazing to me that guy's so young. I think he's like 22 years old or something, and he's fought maybe something like 20 times. He hasn't had those big, huge fights. He's not like a Canelo or nothing like that. It's amazing how famous these guys can get on, and what platforms are making them so famous so young without those big fights. Like how did someone like that get so famous so fast and so young? And I think I heard you say he hasn't fought big guys. How does that happen then?
He's a good boxer, but he has a padded record. You know, he hasn't fought the elite guys. He's gonna fight Campbell here pretty soon. But he's got a personality. He's a good-looking kid, and he can box. And even though he does have a padded record, I will say he's gonna fight an Olympic champion in boxing here. I do believe Ryan García is gonna beat him.
Yeah,
you know,
he's good for sure.
I really do believe so, because and that says a lot of that says. I've seen him box, man. The dude could fight. The dude could box, but you know what I'm saying. He's got obviously the Canelo banner behind him, and also the Oscar de la Hoya. So, but you know, he's a good looking kid with charisma, man. And when you have that, you can be the worst fighter. You can be the most boring fighter like Floyd. But if you're able to sell to the masses and able to speak to them and have them watch you because they hate you, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, I wasn't hating on him. I just like because of you, I heard about him, and then he just came out of nowhere. And then obviously I saw some of his fights, and he's good. But looking at the platform, like Golden Boy doesn't have a big following, so I just couldn't figure out the platform that made him have such a big following. Like the UFC has a big following, so they can promote someone like they did with Masvidal versus Usman and turn him into a superstar in a matter of days, you know, or in a short amount of time, and all you guys. But it just confused me with someone like that of what platform was actually doing it. But coming back to MMA, speaking of guys that are getting boosted up, like I know you've been firing off on Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean. What do you think about? And I know you're ready for this, but what do you think about that after all that hype to fight? Because my next podcast guest, my last guest who I just had on, who's going to be my next posted guest, is Chito Vera. And obviously, I have a couple questions about this that pertain to you. But what is your take on Sean now and like being so hyped and how he got so famous so fast without a real kind of gut check like he just had? And you know, not to bag on him or anything, but just that was kind of a gut check, and he kind of failed, and he's lost a lot of his.
Right. But you don't have to bag on him. I'm gonna bag.
I'll let you do it.
And I'll be honest. With you, Mike. I actually like the kid. I really do, man.
I was wondering that because you're giving him a lot of publicity. I was gonna say, do you love the guy or do you hate him? Because you got him all over your Instagram.
In some way, I'm like hating on him, but in some way, I like him.
And I'm not against his fighting ability for sure.
I'm weird like that. But I honestly, I wish the kid the best. But I also think that he thinks he's better than what he really is. You know what I'm saying? He has, even though he's got the gifts, like he's got great distance, he's got great demeanor, great fakes, man. I watch his videos, I'm like very sellable. Like I look at all these minor little details, but he hasn't been built to freaking last. Like he hasn't been through a war where somebody you can give the pain, but can you take the pain?
Right.
And that's the difference between somebody like Sean O'Malley and me. Yeah, does he have probably better striking than me? Probably, because of his length and his range or whatnot. It makes him a little dangerous, but you just got to be the full package. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's ironic that you're gonna have Chito Vera on your thing. And right before he fought Sean O'Malley, I'm like, hey, listen, dude. I sent him a message. We're not even friends, man, but we have a lot of friends in common. I'm like, listen, man. The way to beat this dude, make him fight his B-side. Put him in the clinch. Put him against the cage. And because of his stance, because he's always leading with that, he's heavy with his left leg forward. I said, smoke the hands and take out the fucking kicks.
Yeah.
Smoke the hands and just fasten that front kick, that calf kick, because it's been taking everybody out. And it's happened to me with Dimitri. This is why I kind of went from the karate stance to a little more neutral, because people were catching on to a little bit too much. Yeah. So I sent a message. We talked a little bit. We chatted. I'm just like, hey man, I said it in Spanish like this, and you probably don't know me. And he answered me right away. He's like, man, that's good to hear from you, champ. You know, it means a lot to me. So I don't want to. I didn't give him the game plan because I think they already had that down. But I kind of, when somebody's able to tell you and convey it to you. It just assures it to you so much better when you fight. You know what I'm saying? Which you got to have it here when you fight.
Yeah, and like you said, I love the fact that you said about digging deep, because I think like the thing that hurts guys like Sean is when you get boosted so big and you become such a big kind of star. Like you said, you can't help but naturally feel that you're better than you are. I mean, that's just a normal instinct. And then when you finally do have to dig deep and you know you have to have that gut check. you're not ready for it because maybe it didn't happen early enough in your career, and you have so much on the line, and it kind of comes at a bigger shock maybe, or at a bigger price. Is that maybe that's what I'm trying to say? Do you think that's the case? Do you think maybe he was too big of a star before he was able to experience some of the cost of becoming a fighter, like that grit, the toughness, the grinding it out a little bit?
Yeah, he's inexperienced in that sense. With all due respect, like he really is inexperienced of competition. He can. Like, I'm gonna go back to he can give the pain, but he can't take the pain. Right. So it has nothing with him being a star.
Right.
Because I also feel like his greatest attribute is him being confident. He actually believes in his own smoke, as you should. But it's different between when you get in there with somebody that could kick you, with somebody that's not going to shy away from you, that's somebody that's gonna put you through the deep waters. And how are you going to respond? A true champion is revealed by how you respond to adversity, and not so much like it's over with him. Like, he lost, he took the L, like he folded. He literally folded, man. I had the same exact shit happen to me with Demetrius Johnson and Marlon Moraes.
Okay, go ahead. No, I have such a good question that I'm going to ask you. And I think I'm going to ask you what you're going to go into. But I don't want to interrupt you. You're the champ. You're the Triple C.
You got it, Mike.
Dude, you're the Triple C. I can't interrupt you, bro. I'm just getting excited. So go ahead.
So that happened to me. Like, and I'm going to tell you a quick story because it kind of correlates with like the philosophy that I'm about to share with you. It's like, even when I fought Demetrius Johnson the first time, they said, I could tell my team was nervous. Like, yeah, we believe in you, champ. I get it, but I can also tell when somebody's nervous. Right. So I had to literally sit down with my team and talk to them and be like, hey guys, I've been here before. I was my wrestling story, Mike, is so much prettier than my MMA story because I was ranked like 31st in the world. I didn't even score a point going into the World Championship in 2007. Leading up to the 2008 Olympics, like Daniel Cormier could tell you, DC would tell you about it. Mm-hmm. Didn't even score a point, fucking losing the whole year of 2007, and ended up going to the Olympics, being ranked 31st in the world. There's only 60 slots against the Olympics. I make it to the Olympics, the underdog, down every match leading up to the finals, and next you know it, fucking 12 hours later, I'm the Olympic champ, dude. Dude that was ranked 31st, the last person that was losing every match in 2007, that was behind in every match at the 2008 Olympics, and eventually I become an Olympic champion. So I took that experience and I sat down with my team. I says, guys, I've done this shit before. I've done it in the world's hardest sport, literally like this, man. And I was sitting with them, like, I'm just gonna ask you guys one thing because I could tell everybody was nervous. I says, I need you guys to be composed, man. I need you guys to be relaxed when I fight Demetrius Johnson. Mm-hmm. Because anything can happen. I could be hurt. Like the first time that I was hurt when he hit me through the body, something that I do regret in that fight is like I scrambled. I should have. I was like I was showing too much of the pain, so I knew the second fight, if I was going to the key to winning this next fight, I asked my corner myself. I says the key to winning this fight is going to be me being composed. It's going to be you guys being composed. You guys not panicking if something happens in the fight. Fight starts. Right before we walk out, I look at my team again. I said, remember, the key is composure. You guys, anything can happen, dude. Anything can happen. Like, the key is composure. Fucking first 30 seconds of the fight, he hits me right behind the knee, Demetrius Johnson, that peroneal nerve. Jesus, man, the worst pain like you could ever feel. You could see my ankle, and my ankle twisted a lot harder than Sean O'Malley's, man. And you can tell, like, my foot was still falling asleep, and I couldn't really lift my foot. So what happens is, like, right behind your knee, like, you have the peroneal nerves, which is a nerve. Like, if you get it, and you don't have to be hit there that hard, but when you're hit there, like, it numbs your whole foot and it sleeps your foot. So the first 30 seconds I get hit, my thing is like wobbling. I freaking twisted I literally sprained my ankle during the fight. Yep. By the time the fight was over, my foot was a balloon.
Yeah. Yep.
It was swollen, but I knew this is the difference between me and Sean O'Malley. Is like I knew that round for me was over. I had to literally survive that first round in order for me to continue the fight for the next 5 rounds. So I held my composure, which is what and you can tell Daniel and John Anik prior to the meet, I says, what's going to be the key? It's going to be the key. And you can even watch the post-fight, the fight prior to me coming out, because I shared, they do an interview with them. I says, Triple C or Henry Cejudo thinks that composure and being relaxed can be the key to this fight. Mm-hmm. So the fight happens. He wins the first round, obviously because of I believe I won the second. He won the third, and I was able to push it, and it was razor thin, dude. I ended up winning the fourth and then the fifth. Yeah. And then Ariel Helwani had asked Demetrius Johnson. He was like, last question, Demetrius Johnson. What was one thing that surprised you about Cejudo? He was like, well, he was fast. I mean, I knew he was fast, and you would be strong. You was a great wrestler. But one thing that did surprise me about Cejudo this time is the fact that he was so relaxed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that right there, Mike, that just comes from experience, man. Yep. Plain experience, bro. So I'm able to convey a lot of the stuff that I do. So even if Sean does watch, it's like he can learn from this stuff. Yeah. And I mean that because, or he can go off to that next route and be like, oh, I just want to fight strikers. And you'll be popular, but you'll never be champion. Yeah, and it's funny, you kind of answered what I was going to say. It's so funny. I wanted to get into this with you, and you led right into it. So I was preparing for the Chito Vera podcast, and not that he needs someone to tell him that he won that fight legitimately, and it wasn't like a rolled ankle and an injury, and it was some kind of fluke. But nonetheless, when I was watching the fight, I noticed that like what you were saying, like he had many missteps before he rolled the ankle, and so like I was looking at all these YouTube videos, what's available, and I'm trying to figure this out, and I came across Stanley MMA put a video on YouTube, and it was like a great breakdown. So shout out to Stanley MMA. I don't know who it is, but he did a great breakdown about getting kicked in the calf behind the knee. And he used you and multiple other fighters as an example, and it was in your fight against Demetrius about you got kicked in the back of the calf below your knee, and you also misstepped a few times. And then the same as Sean, he did the exact same thing. So my point was, I wanted to get your perspective on that, of how you dealt with it and overcame it, which you just answered, because Chito was causing that damage. It wasn't that he just rolled his ankle at the end and that was the end of the fight. I mean, he was hitting him there, and he was misstepping, and he was doing like what you just literally explained. That I don't know what it is, but something caused some kind of nerve damage when you get kicked in that spot behind the calf, and it causes your instability in your ankle. And then when you continue to get kicked there, that's what led to that ankle roll. Yeah, and that little technique right there, Mike, is going to change the fucking sport, man. That little kick right there is going to change the position of how people do things. I guarantee you, Sean's probably going to switch it up with the stance, which is going to take a little bit of a striking because he's used to being long and feeling good with the hands and being rangy. Mm-hmm. But now it's going to. When people really understand the sport of mixed martial arts, it is constantly evolving, and we're constantly chipping away at certain things that we're going to probably use and take out as fighters, as competitors. So, like I said, man, I'm going to go back to the lack of inexperience that he has, and a lack of inexperience of actually making those adjustments, because I knew that I had to make those adjustments. I knew that I had to go southpaw. I was too hurt, man, and I don't train southpaw at all. You will not see. You got to do what you got to do, though. That's a champ. Training. But because of wrestling and southpaw, I was right-legged. I was able to kind of look comfortable, and I could take you down from there. But I don't strike from those positions. Right. But it goes back to demeanor. It goes back to the composure piece, and that's something that athletes need. Like you have to. You have to hold a poker face, man. He didn't show it, man. Once he got kicked there again, like he just rolled, man. Exactly. Then he couldn't take those elbows, and that was it, man. All right, guys, sponsorship time. And the sponsor of this podcast, which ironically is a sponsor of every podcast, is AKA Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort here in Phuket, Thailand. Check out akathailand.com for more information, or email us at info@akathailand.com. I don't want to drag this on too much. We have a great guest today. I will say we do have the 30% special as of the taping of this podcast, so you can save 30% off group training if you pre-book your training. It never expires. You can use it anytime in the future.
So if you have any questions, info@akthailand.com. We can also give you a visa for 6 months or 12 months because we're an official school in Thailand. So we can get you an education visa. So if you just want to get away and live life a little bit, enjoy yourself and make some memories, I can hook you up. 6 months, 12 months, whatever you want. info@akthailand.com. Let us know what you want. We'll hook you up. We can do anything, literally anything. And if you're not familiar with AK Thailand and you haven't seen the podcast before, and you haven't seen this commercial 100 times, here you go.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
You and Mike Tyson, what's the deal with you and Mike Tyson? I know you on Hotboxin. Is that when you met Mike Tyson and then formed kind of a relationship? And then now I see you training with him at the Tyson Ranch. And explain that relationship you have.
Yeah, no, I have a really good relationship with Mike. Like he's Mike's become like a really close friend of mine. Like
he's one of my heroes.
You know what I mean? I respect Mike, but I don't treat Mike like anything different. Well, I respect the crap out of him, but
yeah, of course.
You know, we're friends, man. Like we literally we've accumulated a really good friendship, man. I'm actually going to be co-hosting now. So you're talking about some of the projects that I have right now. So I potentially have the fight with Ryan García sometime next year, maybe in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Okay.
A potential AEW, maybe WWE, exhibition potentially with Kurt Angle. A lot of things to flourish, but I'm also going to be co-hosting. The Hotboxing with Mike Tyson.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna be the actual co-host for this season. So
cool.
They like me, man. They want to bring me back on, and a lot of good things, man. And actually, this Sunday, I'm actually gonna be speaking. I'm gonna be speaking on with the president, man, on behalf of his campaign in Las Vegas. So they called me. They want me to speak on his behalf and be part of the campaign, man.
For Trump.
For Trump.
Okay. I was going to actually ask you. I never asked political questions, and that was one of the things I was going to ask you.
Unless you go with Biden because he's hiding.
The funny thing was I never asked political questions, but for some odd reason, I wanted to ask you who you were for this election.
I respect my president, man. I love my president. I believe Trump does say some pretty extraordinary things, but at the end of the day, it's all based on numbers. It's all based on our economy and how our economy was doing. Let's cut all the bullshit out.
Yeah.
Our economy was flourishing like we've never seen before. Our people were happy. Everything was going on, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
A world pandemic, dude. Everybody's been hit by COVID. That has nothing to do with the president. You know what I'm saying? I grew up conservative, even though I do some pretty crazy things. I'm a conservative guy in a certain sense, but at the end of the day, politics, they don't change the human heart. But it's almost like you have to go through a certain political group or support a certain political group because it gives the right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gives the right. Not saying that, you know what I mean? Like somebody's had to be right. Somebody, you know what I mean? But that's the beauty of our country, man, and how politics work. It's we're constantly challenging ourselves. So the challenge of what politics even brings to our country, I think it's good.
Yeah.
But I believe both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, I do believe they both have great sides, man. I smoke pot. Probably a lot of Republicans probably wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I saw you on the Hotboxing, man. You seem like you're smoking a little too much at some points there and there. So funny.
But it's medicine, bro. It's a lot better. It's a lot better than drinking.
Yeah,
it's a lot better than what
everything's better than drinking.
Cigarettes that people are putting. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so that's it, Mike. I have a different worldview. At the end of the day, man, like I'm not one of these hardcore, diehard, people that are free. You know what I mean? Like I'm just looking to somehow make a change, man, through my theory, through my philosophy.
That's cool, man. Yeah, this podcast went a lot different than I expected, and I want to get a couple breakdowns from you with your expertise real quick before I let you go. First and foremost is Khabib versus Gaethje. What is your take on that fight?
Oh my God, I think those are they're both friends of mine. You know what I mean? And I respect both of them. This other bout's being a little.
We gotta make sure we see them all. I want to see that Tyson too before I leave.
Yeah, they're pillows, by the way. But Khabib Gaethje, I think this is gonna be. I think this is truly the number one and number two best guy in the world. You know what I'm saying? Even though Poirier did beat Gaethje, even though Alvarez did beat Gaethje, I believe Gaethje has a style to beat Khabib. But I also believe that Khabib has a style to beat Gaethje. So it's all gonna depend who's gonna make the other guy fight their B side. If Gaethje doesn't make Khabib fight his B side, he's in trouble, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Gaethje, those calf kicks that he's doing, it takes a couple of those. It'll take your wrestling away. It'll take your hands away. And he said it right away. He says, "I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna kick that front leg." That there's nothing that Gaethje that he doesn't say that he's not gonna do.
Yeah,
and
he
then
does.
Khabib's he's a warrior, man. Khabib is 28-0. I mean, the dude's not the best striker. Maybe even a little, just kind of. He's just a rugged that'll grind you the hell out.
Super strong, man. His strength is so crazy.
And more importantly, understands competition. He's a greater competitor than he is fighter. He's just like me. I'm a greater competitor than I am fighter. Yeah. And that's the shit that makes people dangerous. So I don't want to answer that, but I'm going to give my 2 cents on that. If that makes any sense, what I just said.
Let me ask you this then, in a political way. If Khabib does beat Gaethje, do you think he has a possibility of being one of the only MMA fighters to ever retire undefeated? I mean, do you think anyone else can beat him? If Gaethje can't beat him, and I'm not saying that they can or can't, if he can't beat him in this fight, is there any other person, including if somehow they make this match with GSP, is there any other fighter that can beat him?
At 55, I've always thought the only guy that could really give a run for his money would probably be just a guy that has better grappling. I would say Gillespie. Someone that could ride, even though he's been knocked out. But somebody that could just take you down, a great wrestler, and that can control, that understands college style, riding positions, spirals, things like that. Exactly what he's doing to people. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. I don't. At 55, I've always thought.
Because I'm with you, man.
I've always thought highly of Khabib.
I'm with you and your boy. Like I seriously, honestly, Khabib's my teammate, and of course I'm always going for Khabib. But I've always said that Gaethje is the toughest fight for him because of his style. So like this is the scariest fight for me to watch for Khabib for sure. Like it is the scariest fight because Gaethje has that ability to land those crazy strikes and end a fight. And that's always dangerous for a guy who depends on his grappling and wrestling and strength and all those things that strikes don't really matter. I mean they matter, but the opposite. That didn't make any sense.
This is the thing too, Mike. Sorry, I got you. This is the thing, Mike, too, that we have to understand. It's like Gaethje has wrestled since he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
He was an All-American in college. He wrestled with me here in the Arizona circuit back when we were kids. Like, the dude understands ground.
Yeah, no, he does.
Now, if I was to give Gaethje some advice, I'd be like, hey, man, Gaethje, be a little more tactical, man. Understand your threshold a little bit more for a 5-round fight. You know what I'm saying? Which is amazing, man. I tell you what, man. Gaethje, probably pound for pound, when I saw him in person, if I saw him fight Palomino in person, I remember saying this. You know what I mean? Gaethje, pound for pound, probably has the fucking biggest balls I've ever seen in a human being.
Yeah. He's a crazy dude.
Jesus, man. What I saw that dude go through that fight, I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? I don't say that too often, bro. Like Juan Manuel Marquez, like these boxers, I'm just like, dude, that dude has balls of steel. Like, I'm comparing this dude, all these Mexican legendary boxers, you know what I mean, that have gone through the grind, that will fight you like till death. I put Gaethje up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of his strengths, man. And I'm excited, man. I hope the fight happens, bro. I really do, man, because you never know, dude. I don't want to jinx it, but I hope it happens.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, man. I know your position. What about Stylebender and Costa?
I actually went out to help out Costa in Brazil. I went out there for about a week, just to talk about structure, game planning. Not out there so much to like be a coach or anything, but just out there letting him, like, edifying him, whether he's doing shit right or wrong, like implementing like the mental side of the game, like when to fight or when to compete and things of that matter. So he's fun, man. He's ready, Mike.
He's
ready,
like a
man.
beast.
He's ready to be a world champion, man.
Jesus
I have
Christ.
never seen just how I can talk highly about Gaethje and even Khabib. I have never seen somebody train so hard like Paulo Costa, the Eraser.
Yeah.
I promise you, man. I have never seen somebody be so disciplined and train so hard, dude, to the point where, like, hey, man, you're gonna hurt yourself, dude. Paulo Costa's ready, man. You guys tune in. I do believe he's gonna beat this man. I really do. I think he's got the right training partners. He got guys that are like Israel. He has guys that are mimicking like him. And I think he structured a great camp, and I think he's going to close him out pretty early, man. I think within the first or second round, I think Paulo's going to hurt him and knock him out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Costa's going to take this fight as well. I think he's just a beast, man.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
He really is a specimen, bro. And on October, in a couple weeks, right?
It's coming up soon. Yeah, I don't know exactly the date, but it is coming up soon. Yeah, and luckily for us, as fans.
Yeah, he's gonna be crowd, man. I'm excited for him, man. Like he's such a genuine soul, bro. Those who truly know Paulo Costa, he's a really genuine soul, man. Like he's a good man. I hope he takes it.
And last one, since you guys are politically in line, I'm asking you this because I don't know, because I've never seen you guys interact. But what is your take on Colby Covington?
I like him. I like Colby.
Yeah, see, I don't know, so I had to ask you. I didn't know what your take on him was.
I don't know Colby. I spoke to him one time, and we were kind of talking about some of the stunts we've been pulling.
Yeah.
And
he's got a big fight with Tyron, man. My boy Tyron's going to fight him coming up, and really soon, actually, a couple weeks.
I think he's going to beat Tyron. I think
so?
Tyron's. I think what happens when a fighter loses, he goes through a domino effect. He goes through a domino effect of if you lose and you keep losing. Like, you have to fix exactly what's going on up here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to fix. There's something that's not allowing you to become the best again. You got to pinpoint that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. And I don't think it's going to be a family. Like, it's going to be something within you. So if Tyron can kind of figure that out, then he'd be a tough match for anybody, even for Kamaru Usman once again. But there's something ever since he's lost that it just. You see it. I've seen it with guys like Roy Jones. You know what I'm saying? It's like I almost feel like he's kind of like in those same trenches, in that same water. So if he's able to fix the mental side, I think he could have won this fight. But I just don't see it. I think Colby Covington has a style. He has the fight. He has the grit, and I think he's going to grind out Tyron Woodley for 5 rounds, if not even stop him, because. I think he's got more grind than Gilbert Burns. He has a little bit more grind than Kamaru Usman. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Colby Covington, man.
You don't think it'll play a role that he was kind of had that, Tyron's always been his big brother in the gym and took care of him and kind of was always better in the gym kind of thing? Do you think that mentality is going to take effect, or do you think that that's not going to be an issue? I think that's where Tyron's going to pull deep and be able to come out stronger than he did with Usman and come out stronger than he did with Burns. And I don't know how Colby's going to act because, being the kind of the little brother in that scenario and how he's grown since then, I don't know how that's going to be either.
Well, remember, too, Mike, people get better, man. There's guys that used to beat me, too,
true.
Or that used to compete against me during the gym. You see them now, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's different, it's just different, man. With time, people get better. And even if that is true, as a competitor, as I know as Cody is, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. So he knows Tyron's strength. So for that reason, he may disrespect him on camera. But in the octagon, he's going to respect him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's ready, man. He's a gamer, bro. I respect Colby Covington. because he's a good dude, man, from what I've heard from people. But he's playing the hill, and we're all buying into it. I love it. I like it. I mean, you think some of the cringe shit that I think people are with me? It's like, no, but the difference between me and Colby is I back it up.
Yeah.
I back it up, man. I got my 2 belts. I defended both of them. I got the right, man.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct, and I'm pulling for my boy, man. I hope Tyron pulls it off, but we'll definitely see. And listen, man, I know time is so valuable, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time out. I know you got a busy day today, and for you to sit down and give me so much time and talk to me, and this has been a lot more interesting than I thought, man. And it's been a great conversation. I've never had a conversation with you before, and so this has been a great experience for me.
It's different. It's different, Mike. When people actually, actually get to know me and understand, like, I'm an entertainer, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love the other aspects of it too, man. I love the psychology side of fighting, man. I love how I'm able to connect, like, the fighting, and obviously just with life too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not a heartful human, man. Like, I may talk shit and I may say a lot of things, but it's, at the end of the day, man, it's all about getting people involved, whether you hate me or you love me.
I think it showed in this podcast, and I think it came out really good, man. And I'm honored to have sat down and talked to you. And I think that you're one of the best to do it, in many facets. I mean, from the Olympics to MMA and everything in between. And it's been an honor to do a podcast with you. And if you're ever in Thailand, I happen to know a guy who has the greatest sports combat training facility in Thailand, and it's on an island, and you are VIP, my friend. All you got to do is let me know when you want to come to Thailand. Take your family, take your friends, come on for a vacation, and I will show you the islands. We'll cruise on the boats. We'll have a great time. Yeah, no,
I appreciate it. At first I thought you were going to say the best pad thai. I was like, I'm going.
Well, we have that too. We have a restaurant on site. Dude, we have like a village. We have multiple buildings. We have a restaurant. We have everything. So it's like a small city. It's 2 acres, a complex. It's the largest in the world for sports combat. So we got a restaurant. We have like 150 dishes. So I mean, trust me, man, I got you. Just let me know when you want to go to Thailand. And from the second you land, it's going to be VIP, brother, all the way to the nice resorts, to the gym if you want to do some training, to the islands if you want to see the islands.
Are you in Phuket?
I'm in Phuket, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I've been out there before. It's beautiful down there.
Amazing, yeah.
So I'm gonna take you up on that, Mike. If I'm ever down there, bro, I'm retired now, but if I'm ever down there, bro, we can definitely link up, and I'm gonna take you up on that pad thai too.
You got. I'll give it to all to you, brother. No problem. Thank you so much for taking the time. Hey, let me see the Mike Tyson pillow, man. You got to see this thing. That was awesome. That's
I got
so
Uncle
cool.
Mike, man. I love this pillow.
That is the best.
I love this pillow for Mike. So it's with my pillows, bro. And I got Aldo. I got Jose Baldo right here. Yeah, I got Aldo.
That is incredible.
I got Ipo Shaw.
Oh, wow.
I got. I'm gonna say this too. I got the greatest of all time right here.
Oh my God!
The greatest mixed martial artist, Demetrius Johnson. Even though I say a lot of shit, I still think he knows the game probably more than anybody.
That's very humbling of you.
Mix it. Then obviously I got the triple C in the back.
Oh, let me see that one. Let me see that. Oh, don't be shy with yourself. Come on, get up here with all them belts. Damn, dude.
Yeah, so I got the 2 belts, the gold medal. You know.
Man, I love your energy. I love your energy, man.
I got Dana somewhere over there.
You got Dana too. I got to see Dana. All right. Man, I love your energy, man. I love your energy. I love the fact you're living your life. You're young, man. You're 33 years old. You've done so much. You have so much opportunity ahead of you. I love it, man. And please come back on my show. I would love to talk to you again, especially when you get something booked and we can have a conversation about it and catch up, man.
Yeah, for sure, Mike. I appreciate it, man. You best of luck with your podcast. And I'm curious to start keeping up with your podcast, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're a great interviewer, and wish you nothing but the best, bro. And keep pumping it out, man. Thank you for what you've done in MMA, man. You're a big part of the success that the UFC has had, man, with since 2004 to what it is now.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
that.
It's
actually your season. Your season is the one that changed the sport, bro. So it wasn't just Forrest Griffin and Stefan Bonner. All you guys, all you crazy ass dudes in that house.
Thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate that. And I have a feeling the next season of Hotboxin is going to be one of my favorite seasons. So I'm gonna be staying tuned into that.
Yeah, for sure, Mike. Best of luck, brother.
All right, take care, brother. All right, there you go, Henry Cejudo. Wow, what a great podcast. If you've seen him in this form, I haven't, and I'm honored to have been in this conversation. I've never had a conversation with Henry, and this has been a great one. I think he was very transparent, very open, very honest, and it was really, really cool for me to see Henry like I've never seen him, and to actually be the one in the conversation. So I'm actually a fan of this podcast from the outside, I guess you could say. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, please leave us a comment on YouTube. Please subscribe. The audio platform, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes. You can review us there. You can subscribe as well. Guys, we're growing so fast. I appreciate the comments so much. The feedback has been great. I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it. I'm a businessman and I have a business. This isn't my main job. It's something I'm passionate about, and I think that shows. And so it obviously means a lot to hear from you guys that y'all are enjoying it as well, because I actually genuinely care about it. It's not about money. It's not about anything else. So I am very thankful for all of you that are supporting the podcast, and considering how fast we're growing, you're obviously doing more than supporting it. You're talking about it, and you're telling people about it, and you're helping boost us, and thank you for that. I greatly appreciate it, because the more people that we can share these stories with, these aren't my stories, so I'm not sitting here gloating. I'm trying to bring on interesting guests, and I think these guests and what they say, especially guys like Henry today, these stories and the things they're saying are going to change people. They're going to change their perspectives. They're going to change their lives. They're going to change the way they think, the way they train. And that's an amazing thing. It really is an amazing thing. And I'm glad that I can be a part of that. So I'm glad that you're being a part of promoting us and allowing us to grow as a platform so that we can touch and reach more people. And that means a lot to me. Speaking of which, I want to give a big shout out to MMA World on YouTube. This is not a paid endorsement, a paid sponsorship. The only sponsor the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast sponsors is aka Thailand. But I want to give a shout out to MMA World on YouTube, because they always put our videos on there. They're always so supportive of our podcast, and I greatly appreciate that. So I want to shout them back out and say that if you're not watching them on YouTube, please do so. You will find out everything there is to know about the sport of MMA, and their multiple uploads a day, or I don't even know how many they do. They probably do at least 2 a day, if not 1 every single day. And you will find out everything you need to know about the MMA world, and you'll probably see some clips of this on there as well. So big shout out to MMA World. Bigger shout out to you guys, the fans, who's supporting us and boosting us and helping us grow, so that other people can be inspired by my guest and be touched by my guests and improve their lives and become better people. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.